Well, I had intended to do a video today, and when I came down here, I actually didn't bring my right tripod or anything along, but I got off work early, so I happened to get these different sights for the Swedish Mauser in the mail today. So I went right at them, which has been enjoyable. Okay, I ordered two of them. I ordered a number 2. The one that came on it was a 0, pretty short. Well, I ordered a number 2, and this is a little confusing. I ordered a 3.5, but now the envelope it came in says it's a 3, but it is tall, and it doesn't have the number stamped on it. The other ones do. But this was too tall. I put this on and tried shooting at 50 yards. Originally the rifle with that 0 on was shooting at 100 yards. It was shooting like a foot high, which, I got it to work by loading some cast bullets at real low power, but that wasn't the answer. So these sights came in today. And after I got the sight on, I tried it at, just get ready. I tried it at 50 yards with that 3.5 or 3, whatever it really is. And I had 2 hits, well, 3 hits. One was right off the target, down low. So that was too much. So then I switched to that 2. And I was doing 3-shot groups. And with the 2, I got it up to the right level. So I thought, this is great. But I was playing with different loads here too, so it got a little confusing. And then I had to adjust my sight over. But since I was at the right level, I moved out to 100 yards. Now, like I say, after I had moved out to 100 yards, I didn't move the sight again. But I was shooting 3 different loads. And one of them that I was shooting was the Wolf brand, which is actually the PPU. But they were shooting, they are the circled ones, so they're kind of all over. They're just a little random. It's here, 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 just kind of all over. So then I had some of those SST 140 grain loaded with 32.5 grains of 48.95. There again, random, but low. They all came in low. Every time I shot them, well, one got up here, but the rest of them all low. But then I had some regular Spitzer 129 grain Hornady soft points, and I loaded them with 36.5 grains of 4064. And that is the right choice for me, because that's at the right height. They just bang right in there. That's a good combination, and it's good because I can get them 129 grains. I've got quite a few, and they're commonly available too. So I think I'm going to get that dialed in. I'll play with that load, but I'm glad to see 4064. Works best for me, and it gets me away from those SSTs that were the plastic tip bullet, which I wasn't too sure about anyway. One thing about those SSTs, I fired a couple of them into a sandbank over here, because when they go into the sand, you can track them down. It powders the sand, gets white, leaves like a white streak of powdered glass where they go in. And I tracked them down, and this is what I don't like to see. It turned the bullet inside out, really, basically is what it did. but it broke off all these shards of metal. And if you've ever seen a deer hit with a bullet like that, you know, a high-speed, small caliber, when a bullet does that, you can make a mess of a big chunk of meat. You know, so I don't like to see those. I mean, that's fine if you're trying to destroy something, but for hunting, that isn't any good. So I'm glad that they didn't work out, you know, because I really don't like that plastic tip bullet theory anyway. So, like I said, I got a few of them left, but I'll save them. But they shot wild and they shot low. You know, I wanted to try them because they were a boat tail. But that regular Spitzer seemed to work better. But like this now is that wolf stuff yet. Not that impressive. You know, it's just a little random. You can pretty much keep them in the black, but they're just a little more random. The regular 129 grain worked better for me. You know, and I don't know what these are loaded with for powder, but I'm just shooting them up to get the brass. But well, I'm happy with a 40-64 and a plain 129 grain bullet, and that hits right at 100 yards with the sights, with that number 2 sight. Now, these different sights, you know, like this 3.5, okay, no big deal. I could grind that down to the height of a 2 or a little higher than a 2. You know, you could work with it. You can't make them taller, but you can sure make them shorter. You know, a little filing, and you can bring them down. But that number 2 seems to be right in the area. You know, they have a wide variety, because I know they even go into the negative numbers. But this, where I got them, they carried just the 2. They had the 3.5, which maybe was a 3, I don't know, and that number 2. But I think that number 2 for this gun works very well. It's the right height, because that 0. Well, I'll put them up where you can maybe see them a little better. And that's the difference between the 0 and the, you know, and that's a pretty good climb there. Evidently way too much, because, like I say, when I first started shooting at 50 yards, it was like 8 inches low. So that's no good either. But where I got them from was Liberty Tree Collectors. And I bought stuff from them before for like my Argentine. They're pretty good because they have, you know, old stock stuff. For a lot of these old guns, you can get the original parts. So they're pretty good. And that +2, because like I say, there's some minus sizes, but the +2 was $18 and about $3 to ship it. But the +3.5 was $22, but I don't know, like I say, this one shot a foot high with the 0. I don't know how wide they'd have to be to need that 3.5. But that seemed to work. I'm happy with that. I got something I can work with now. But I'll have to keep track of these sights, because like I say, I did get this one to work with a cast bullet, but I had to slow it down more than, you know, there was nothing there. It worked, but so I really have no idea what in the world they were using this sight for. You know, I can't imagine that they ever had any bullet that would work with that. But that's what was on it. But I think they changed some of the rear sights too. You know, so between the two, I think somehow they had it screwed pretty badly. But that number 2, you know, well worth that $18 to get one that works. Makes the gun much more useful. And I'm glad I can load a 40-64, a powder I'm rather fond of.